Let's see about that. Talk later. All right. Welcome, everybody. Um, you can hear me fine. Is that okay? Perfect. Lovely. Look, it is my pleasure to talk to you about, well, the enterprise architect, success in the context of SAP S/4HANA, and what a blueprint might look like for this. Yeah. So, if you've been here for my speaker before, Guillaume, he took you to the future of enterprise architecture with AI and whatnot, and this is now somewhat anticlimactic. I'm taking you back into the reality of the now. And it's not as disruptive. I'm actually quite sorry that the colleague that posed this very intellectual and philosophical question in the end left. But let's see, okay? So, I will introduce myself to you so you maybe understand where I'm coming from, and it might give you a clue of why I say certain things and why I see them the way I see them. So, I'm Marc, I'm 51. I went to law school. I finished it. I passed the bar exam. I never registered as a lawyer, so technically I am not and never was a lawyer. But the education, somehow it stays with you, okay? At my first, the company I worked for first, that's where I transitioned into IT very quickly. There was a rationalization program, and like in hindsight, it was digitalization, it was process streamlining, optimization. At the time, it felt very different to me. There was lots of stress, but so for 20 years now, IT has been my home. Working in IT, at a certain point, I realized that the issue was the business requirements coming in were not correct. So 15 years ago, I started process, well, let's say modeling, yeah, with Signavio to help the business understand what their business process actually look like, to make it clear for IT what we do. 8 years ago, I became an enterprise architect. Why? At the company I was working at the time, they realized I knew the processes. I knew where, what system was used, which objects were created, and what so. And then when the Enterprise Architecture Office was founded, I was one of the first members. So that's where I come from. Constant learning is my thing. Evolution, yeah. So the my favorite HR question is, where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? No? But let's get back on the track, right? I love this quote. If you've seen the keynote by Anja Schneider, she talked to you about the success as a team in the kitchen, where you work together to create a meal. I would like to pick out this one cook, the enterprise architect, and talk about his mise en place. Very good French word for, well, put everything in place ahead of time, so that when you actually start cooking, you've got everything laid out. You know what you want to do, when to do it, because things cook at different times. Yet you can't put the onions in last. That won't work. Things like that. And I like it for a second reason. Maybe a bit pretentious, yeah? Extension of your nervous system. That's kind of crazy, but bear with me here, because my experience has been that the architect, we see things, feel things that most probably will happen in 6 months, in 12 months' time. And then when you tell your fellow teammates who are working together with you on this meal, for them it's kind of like magic. How do you know that, Marc? That can't possibly be true. Well, I'm sorry to say, often enough it is, and then when you're there, then it's too late. So in the end, it's about building trust. People need to trust you, that the things you feel, you see, are actually going to happen, and then everybody reacts. All right, this much for setting the scene. those are the steps I would take you through, okay? So we will talk, of course, about the one cook. We will talk about what is success in this context, and I will give you a hint of what a blueprint might look like. We've heard a lot about the enterprise architect and that business decisions need to be made from an enterprise architect's perspective. Yeah, data is important, AI is important. We live in the era of AI. Digitalization is the thing. So it is very important you think about these things. When I started out, things were a bit different. I'm the Marc with the quote of the basement boys. We, the IT department, we were perceived as the guys who actually, well, they thrive in the basement. Yeah, like mushrooms. We don't need light. We've got our monitors. I always thought that was wrong. That was not true, because if so, why did business need us? They needed us to deliver their promise to the customer. I thought that was always true, and I think the tide has changed, things are coming, and I think the perception is changing. Is it already there? I don't think so. I think it will be a constant struggle. Well, definitely from my perspective, I had difficulties to get at the table where decisions were being made. From my perspective. That might be different for you. Some might feel with me, have had the same experience. Anyway. This is actually one of my key messages. The perception is that we enterprise architects are, well, we are IT. And we deal with machines, things. We are rooted in IT, yes. Yeah? We care about things, we know what things can do, what software can do for us, for the business, but it's the interactions. We have to be able to talk to people, convince them. Soft skills, I think things like negotiating, storytelling. I've had very difficult discussions with a couple of CIOs. Yeah? Some of them threatened to throw me out the window. And you have to stand your ground to a certain extent. So some conflict is part of your life. And that's the way I see it. And I think when I see what we need to do with business AI and what's coming, I think this is definitely the right direction. On the right side, when I say facilitating adoption and manage change, bear in mind, you're not alone. You're part of a team. It's a team of cooks. Yes, this is part of what you do. You deliver valuable input there, but you don't do it alone. There's more specialized roles for this, but still, I think you give the right input. This is what architects do. This is our world. This thing is also our world. This leads me to, well, what this is clearly, it's of course, it's the SAP Enterprise Architecture Framework. It depicts the life cycle of an enterprise architecture. No? That's how you go about things. It's clearly rooted in TOGAF, yeah? A recognized standard. This is how you think about things. And if you start reading at A, B, and these things, you start to realize that it goes across many, many levels of your company. If we talk about vision is usually where you are in the C-suite, yeah, C-level. That's the people you talk to, and this is a perspective, or this is not the picture I want you, or the image I want you to take with you. It's actually on the next slide. This is how I see an enterprise architect. The enterprise architect's office is actually in an elevator. On whatever level in the company, the door opens, you step out of your office, and the people you encounter there, the stakeholders, those are the ones you talk to. And naturally, is that something was that natural for me? Let's start with a message from myself. It wasn't natural for me. You need to, like, the C level, how do they think? kind of people. Sometimes I didn't see them for like half a year, and then all of a sudden you're in a meeting room and you don't know what to do. Then comes Guillem's interesting the presentation from hell, where you decide on the future of the company with rocket ships and whatnot. But it gets you need to get accustomed to. But that's the message. You have a people's job. You talk to people, and you can translate from each level to the next. You can transport the message or the fears they have, the necessities they feel, and this is something you take with you to the next level. You influence, you negotiate, you translate. That's what you do. So we talked a lot about the architect. Let's talk about success. When I started, and I had this fantastic project, it went live. It was a full success. Management was very happy. I was living in the IT silo. Fantastic. Tickets, we were bombarded with tickets. The business was not happy at all. For us, the IT, we delivered on time, within schedule. We were happy. The IT was happy. The business was not. And that's what I'm getting at. It's not enough that the IT can't be happy without the business, and other way around. I don't think that's how it works. It works only if all are happy. It is a compromise, granted. Yeah. So happiness might be a very strong word, but you get my meaning. It is about business success. This is what we do. We want success for the company we work in or we work for. As I said, that has not been my experience. But these are things being said publicly by very well influential people, important people, and I think the tides are changing, and I think this is becoming more and more true. But I think that we all need to work on that. So if you're an enterprise architect, want to be one, work on this. Tell people. Help others if you're already there. Yeah? I think this helps influence a development, and this is where it needs to go. At the core of business success, there's of course always the individual goals. Yeah, I mean, look, Google, don't be evil. For Apple, it's about user experience, design. These are the things that distinguish these companies from others. But at the core of every business, of course, there is business success in the sense of profitability. You want to grow. And usually, nowadays, how you do that is by innovation. You do new things. And this is where we come in. AI is a new thing. This will make profits grow. This will provide growth in revenue in all sorts of areas. And that's how we come into the picture. Customer loyalty. Well, if you have steady processes, if you deliver on your promise, the quality is right, all with the help of transparent data, of transparent processes, AI-aided processes. Maybe you give your customers more control over their processes via AI bots, whatnot. This fosters customer loyalty, is good for profitability, fantastic, that's for everybody. Last but not least, I want to talk about sustainability. Look, I'm from Germany, Europe, right? So sustainability, the impression we got, is kind of a dirty word here. It isn't, because sustainability is about using less and doing things with it. And using things costs something. It's about if you use less energy, that's sustainable, but that also helps your bottom line, it's profitability. So, is it good for the environment? Yes. Is that a good thing? I strongly believe so. Is it the only reason you should do it? Absolutely not. You should do it because it's good for your business. That's why you should do it. And that's why people are doing it. They run a business. They are not a non-profit organization. If there was no profit to be made by sustainability, no, everybody would stop doing it probably. If you're not an NGO though, yeah, heavily subsidized, whatnot. But businesses, they care about sustainability because it's good for them. All right. blueprint. Fantastic. This picture suggests that it's something that you draw up and it stays like that basically forever, and you just follow it. I propose to you that that is not the case. It is part of it. Yes, you need a clear target picture. Yeah, without it, without a North Star, the famous saying, then you don't know. You have to find out where you are. You want to find out where you go to. That's how navigation starts. That's how you get places. This is definitely what you need. But it's also about these methods and artifacts, integrated tool chain. These are all the things that you need for your mise en place. These are the things you prepare ahead of time, look into it. What do I need? Where am I? What will I be needing? Think about it, prepare it, because when the time comes, my experience is, it helps you, it reassures everybody if they have seen things before. It reassures them we're on the right path. I have a process map. This is where we are now. No? This is, I think, the things that are important. This comprises a blueprint, and I'll bring you through these steps. This picture is what SAP, that's what our vision for a target architecture looks like. I'll just walk you quickly through it. There's lots to read about it, but let's not go into much detail. But so just you know, it is important that you pick what's important for your company, for your vision. At the basis, at the foundation is business technology platform. There's integration, there's extensibility, while still keeping the core clean, enabling innovation being rolled out into the core of your systems. Talking about the core, data. We've heard about it. If you want business AI agents to do things for you, the data must be clean, it must be reliable, it must be available, it must be there. The businesses I worked for, data was like for nerds. That's not true. It's a business thing. You want data because it will help you automate things. Of course, now it's in the cloud. It's a commodity. It's a business suite. That's what you need, and that's where you can pick and choose. Yeah, what helps you in your company at this specific moment where you are in time? Okay. This alone, of course, does not get you anywhere. This is the tool set I'm talking about, where you pick and choose from, it's a lot. I've seen the raised eyebrow over there. It's a lot, but you are not alone. Yeah, we offer services, we offer help. There is reference architecture, industry-specific reference architecture that you can look at, which gives you a clearer view in the jungle of possibilities, right? So this is what we can deliver. Of course, we base this everything needs to be adapted. Just because it's a framework doesn't mean you can use it like straight out of the box. Usually that's not the case. There's some adaptation going on. Always is. SAP did it. So APQC for processes, TOGAF for the general framework. Then on top we put extra processes and migration tools and whatnot to help you in your transition journey. Well, that's the road with every transformation that you take. Yeah, the classic structure of a project. This is how it goes, and the road actually winds because it's never straightforward. Yeah. What I'll be going into later on, just next, I think, is the integrated toolchain. So what I've used at the time, I would wish for my S/4HANA transformations, this toolchain would already had been there. At the time, we only had Signavio and LeanIX. But let me tell you, if you integrate those things and you talk with the business, these are my processes, that's it. And then they are interfaced into LeanIX, and you can structure your IT work showcasing to the business leader, look, in your process, that's where we are right now, and that's where we have this issue. And all of a sudden, you have ownership. They own the decisions. Why? Because process is something businesses business leaders understand. That's mine. I do it. That's my value contribution to this company, and that's what helps. Along the line, SAP Cloud ALM, Tricentis, and WalkMe. I'd like to focus a bit on WalkMe on the bottom right here, because WalkMe is all about people. Because with the speed of transformation also comes, well, what's the good quote is, companies don't evolve, people change. And WalkMe is all about the people, because you get confused. All of a sudden you've got a new functionality, you don't know how to use it. WalkMe is exactly there to bridge this. You can talk to it, it's prepared for this situation, and then WalkMe helps the end user actually manage better with the new software, with the new process, and this is really great. This picture, this slide actually circles back to what I showed you before. The enterprise architect's office in an elevator. Because here you can see, illustrated by the tool chain, how these things go across different stakeholders, the different levels of your company, and how they can support you at these stages. And this is your home turf. This is the home turf of the enterprise architect. That's where you go, and these tools help you. So, it's about people, you can get support by tools, and it's about a digital future. And I would like to close with these key takeaways, emphasizing maybe on the first one. Let's not take it for granted. I don't think we're there. I think we still need to do some convincing that it's actually that we are there, that we help businesses, and that's why it's my privilege to speak to you today, and maybe you take it away for you and take it with you and try to do it. And I think the world will be a better place if we do. With this, I would actually leave you and open the floor to your questions, if you have any. Happy to. Otherwise, of course, I'll be at the reception. Find me there, whatever. Guillaume will be there, and we can answer any question you like. Please.
Good. Go for it.
That's it? No, one question. Excellent.
With regards to the WalkMe
Yes.
tools, obviously now we're trying to get away from formal classroom-based training for people who are using our systems as much as we possibly can.
Yeah.
But in a lot of cases, we still have to provide something to them that
Yes.
lets us certify that they were participants, active participants, and have completed, in some cases, they completed this program before they get access through the security modules to this particular functionality.
True.
Is the integration with WalkMe currently good enough to have those kinds of workflows for training to security kind of workflows?
So the use cases right now that I'm aware of are actually less on these very critical activities of a company. They are more like if the policy has changed and I want to rent a car, what do? I'm confused. And then you and WalkMe can then help you and guides you through, this is what you need to do, and then you click here, and then you need to consider this, and this helps the end user. Say for a finance department, how do I book things, yeah? WalkMe might not be your friend there.
So we're in a situation where we're doing live S4 migrations from old ECC systems.
All right.
And we have people scattered across Canada from coast to coast to coast, all the way up into the Arctic. I'm not flying an instructor to the Northwest Territories or
Understand.
to the Arctic course. So what are the best methods for that kind of dispersed education where we can still track completion before we give them production access to something?
WalkMe is working on it to becoming the solution. until then, I mean, this is like back to reality. Right now, I would still go with a combined approach. You do the online trainings, you do some calls, then you help the people, you identify the where they're tripping over. You put this into WalkMe before you roll out into the big group. And this then helps a lot of people, but gather some input first, train maybe some multipliers, yeah? And I think that's the road to success there. Thank you. Please, the one later. Please, sir.
When we sign a RISE contract, do we get all LeanIX, all these other tools automatically, or is this an a la carte kind of thing where we have to buy these separately?
I think for now this is separate, but I'm not entirely sure. This is out of my area of expertise. I would have to come back to you on that. You don't get?
You get like a basic version of Signavio, you're not the...
No, you're not the process analytics part, I would assume. But I think some of those are free. You can get a certain set of analytics in Signavio. That one I know. The process insights, yeah. But I'd only on a limited issue, and then it's a commercialization. I'm not entirely sure how that works, but I can get you in touch with people who know these things.
There is a LeanIX trial
Yes.
license available if you...
It is, plus there is a RISE EA who can guide you through, and it will come with LeanIX and show you things, and maybe you then can showcase to your company whether, that it is a good idea to have it. Low entry threshold, believe me, I introduced it in 2 companies. It's not hassle-free to convince people to contribute into LeanIX. Why? Because once you start doing it, it's altruistic, because you put in the things you already know. Why am I doing this? I'm doing it for all others. And you rely on every other person to do their bit to contribute what they know. And this is kind of the problem, the philosophical problem you face when rolling this out into a lot of owners. I'm sorry, sir, I'm coming back to you in a minute. You had a question, sir.
Yeah, so from your experience or your work with the
Yes.
enterprise architect and as an enterprise architect, how much or what level of involvement of an enterprise architect should do in selecting a tool for specific capability? Or should they leave that to a solution architects in that selecting a tool of specific capability?
I'll give a personal personal answer. I will not say this is the best way to do it. I kind of like to control these things. I like to know what the business needs and wants. I like to be there. At least be there. If you are the only one driving it, I would not give it out of hand and then live with someone else's decision. I don't like that. No? Because then you would need to, or there is a very good trust relationship. I know people who have a trust with this. But in a real world scenario, in a big company, do you have this always? Probably not. So that's what I said. It's about trust. People know each other and people trust you to know these things. So I'd give it back to you. I wouldn't personally, but then that's me. So.
I'm an S4HANA customer currently in HEC.
Okay.
Right, in early release of S4.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm migrating to S4HANA RISE.
Yes.
Right. I've got only enough money for 2 tools.
Okay.
This is Bruce's question, I'm just asking it for him. Which 2 tools would you recommend out of the 5 that you listed from LeanIX, Signavio, Tricentis, WalkMe, ALM is always free?
So you're putting me on the spot, right? So I think we'll stop the recording now. Drew is. Okay. Would you? Okay. Nice. Yeah, and the real lawyer answer always is, it depends. That's what lawyers always say, because it depends on the specific situation. Yes.
Enterprise architecture practice is just now getting to that point where enterprise architecture is getting, it's got traction.
Nice.
to my company.
Good for you,
So,
problematic for the rising architects because they have to live with certain decisions that have already been made, right?
right.
Okay.
So where we're at right now within our company is the testing is very weak. It's been pinpoint when we originally implemented it. It's not
Mhm.
So part of our journey is putting in tricentis
Mm-hmm.
to get us,
Yeah.
sound end-to-end business processes. And then
Yeah.
the other side of it is after the project's done, is starting to dip into signal.
Okay, so more on the process side. That is a good approach because businesses and you've got business users and they understand processes because you've got lanes, you've got activities, and you've got a flow, decisions. This is understandable. Personally, I like LeanIX a lot because it helps you map out what's happening. And now you need to see, are you happy with the project? Will there a project after the project? Who is your main, the main stakeholder you'll be talking to? If it's end users and you need to empower them, go with Signavio. If it's, I need to talk about management, to management about where we are at because we need to go somewhere else, I think, or go further. Then I would urge you towards LeanIX because there you can map out the relationship of, say, let's call them projects, yeah? Add 2 applications, 2 processes, and you can create this view for top management for them to understand where you're at and where the issues are. Sometimes this is very valuable. So I come back to my lawyer answer. It depends, but I think we can work something out there. But for now, I think it's a good choice. Yeah. So.
Right now where we're at is I'm looking for Prakash to come in and show the fancy parts of LeanIX and help me sell it.
Perfect. That's exactly it. Yeah, you have to. Who said this? I heard this before. You have to sell it. You have to sell things. It's convincing. It's a nicer word, but yeah, sell it. And that's visualization helps. And if you make the art is the complexity we perceive as architects, make it understandable on a top business level. That's the art form. And that's very, very hard to do. And then you have got these presentations from hell where you start out with all of the details and you can literally see how the eyes of the C-level roll backwards because they have given up. It's not their job to understand, and that's something like us IT guys, we don't understand that they don't have to. But there we are. It's about people, convincing them, selling, not things, but selling transparency, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, one of the things that nobody's talked about from a LeanIX perspective is the fact that, they think it's a lot of work, but if you already have a CIDD, it can suck all that information in, so you can get all your applications automatically. You have service
Very
now,
true.
you don't need to key all that data in. So it just depends on your situation, how quickly you can bring LeanIX to be a operating platform.
Very true. However, I've tried this, but then the issue then is that your CMDB is very technical. So you have to find a logical layer. This is of course less work than keying in all the CMDB details. Absolutely, but still you have to find the logical layer for the business then to understand what you're talking about. So there'll be an S/4HANA. Finance and controlling, extended warehouse management, these things for them. I signed this contract. It's for them to relate to where you're at. Of course, you can go onto a deeper level, but that's then your purview. But yes, an import functionality, discovery functionality is built in LeanIX now, so you can go through the cloud landscape you already got and import it. So we're getting better, we're getting there.
Let's say you are tying it to Cloud Agent, right?
Yes.
So it's actually discovering your existing SAP landscape. So
It
does
is.
it automatically tie you to the business capability? Because SAP already knows that this particular SAP instance, like module, right, is tied to a particular business capability, right? So does LeanIX do that?
When you import things, tying is such a like a finite word, but yes, it gives you the relationship between the application and the capabilities that it covers. Yes, this is something we have, and I talked about the reference architecture. Reference business architecture, reference solution architecture, those are the things you can see. So what are there's an exploration view pane actually in LeanIX. So if you've got an existing landscape, then you can go and filter down by capability that you want to improve, and then have a look what the suggestions of SAP, of LeanIX are, how to improve this capability, and you can import into your workspace these solutions then. That's also a possibility. So there are relationships there, yes. Excellent, lots of questions, and very, very down to earth. I'm an existing customer, I have this problem. Guys, it has been a pleasure, though not always easy. Thank you very much for your attention. You have a fantastic evening and enjoy the rest of the convention.
We're doing the live stream from here itself, so the auditorium is going to be full, and we'll just hook it up here. So if you're going down to the session there, you don't have to.
Yep, so I was just going to add to that. So as he mentioned, there's going to be a live stream for the closing downstairs, or also viewed on the screen here. And just for your information, during the reception at 5:30, there's a VR session for LeanIX. That's actually going to be in the Experience Center right across. So if you exit, you make a left, go to the window side, make another left. There'll be signs. But I just want to let you know, 5:30 VR for LeanIX. Hope you had a good day.